Are these Labradoodle puppies healthy? How can we tell? One way is to know if they've reached their very first milestone. These Labradoodle puppies are 1 week old, and it's time to see if they've hit that very first milestone. We're also going to talk about why that milestone is important in today's video. We're going to tell you a little bit about getting ready for your puppy, preparing yourselves, preparing your home, picking a name for your puppy, and of course we'll give you an update on Mama Misha and also on each of these 1 week old Labradoodle puppies from the Onyx Shadow litter. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these are mini Australian Labradoodle puppies, and they are 1 week old today. And so the first important milestone in a Labradoodle puppy's life is doubling their birth weight. Now, as Labradoodle breeders, what we look for is that happening within the first week to 10 days. So why is that important? What does it matter whether they double their birth weight or not? Doubling their birth weight tells us that they are getting the full and proper nutrition that they need from Mama Misha's milk bar. It also is laying the foundation for all of their future development. It means that they're able to reach their physical milestones at the time that they should. And if a puppy is not able to double their birth weight in the first week to 10 days, then that tells us that something's not quite right. And that makes us keep a very close eye on that puppy. Now, why would this happen or not happen? Why would we have a puppy that didn't double their birth weight, or an entire litter of puppies that didn't double their birth weight? It all comes down to the nutrition that the Mama Labradoodle is receiving. And it's not just the nutrition she's receiving right now while she's nursing her puppies, but it's the nutrition she's received from the time she herself was nursing as a puppy and through her entire life. At Van Isle Labradoodles, we are raw food breeders. We feed all of our puppies, we wean them to raw food. All of our adult dogs eat a 100% raw food diet. It's a combination of frozen raw and freeze-dried raw. We don't make it ourselves, because it's impossible to know as an individual whether you are actually providing a balanced and complete diet. To know that, a food has to be tested regularly by an independent lab to make sure that all of the critical elements are there. You also need to be sure that all of them are available to the dog. So we also select products that do not use a synthetic cocktail of minerals and vitamins. We want food for our puppies where it provides everything for our puppies, where it exceeds all of the nutritional requirements laid out by AFCO and the National Research Council. That's what we look for. Those are the only products that we give our dogs. And we also offer all of those products to our families with support and advice on how to do raw feeding through curated canines. That's the other side of Van Isle Doodles. That's Reynolds' wheelhouse. That's the business side that he looks after. So we provide all of the raw food, freeze-dried food, treats, chews, and bones that your puppy will need from the time they go home with you until they are geriatric. And we will always be there to help you order, provide advice, and we deliver up and down the island for free to a central location on a monthly basis. So Misha is, of course, eating that raw food diet, and that's what we rely on to give our puppies such a great start in life. You can see how their coats are all just gleaming. You can really notice it on the darker colors, especially on Black Collar with his beautiful ebony coat. A healthy puppy is going to have a shiny coat. You can also see that there's no hair in here. Misha is not losing any hair. Many times you'll see dogs who are pregnant or have who are lactating and their coats dropping out and they're skinny. And that's because they're not getting enough and they're not getting proper nutrition. So it's really important that, here comes Misha to show us just how beautiful she's looking. She doesn't want to go right by the puppies. She's trying to get a little bit of a break from them. So instead she's going to come and sit by me. Oh no, she's not. That was it. That was her cameo. She's not on camera today. But you can see her coat is full. It's full of luster. It's thick. It's rich. And there's no hair blowing around from her. So those are all the important things. Now the other things as breeders that we're always looking for on a daily basis is we're checking the puppy's bums. We want these bums to always be nice and dry and clean. So you can see here on Purple Collar's bum, there's absolutely nothing there. It's just as dry as on top of his body. So what does a wet bum mean? A wet bum means that the puppy is suffering from diarrhea and that the mom cannot dry the bum off when the bum is full of diarrhea. She may be able to lick him clean, but because he's having diarrhea, she will be licking and licking and licking, and the bum will be wet. That's the first sign that alerts us as breeders there's trouble, because puppies don't have diarrhea unless there's some issue going on. And the possible issues could be that they need to be wormed. Puppies all are born with worms. Their moms have a dormant worm that comes to life only when they get pregnant, and that worm transfers to the puppies. So it's important that your puppy be wormed, because the parasites, the worms, can take away from your puppy's ability to thrive. Yeah, your puppy can still survive when they've got worms, but those are the puppies you'll see that don't double their birth weight. We don't normally worm our puppies until they're 2 weeks old, but if something were to occur and we had a puppy with a wet bum, the first step we would take would be to worm them and worm them early. The wormer we use is very mild, and so it's safe to use at a very young age. Generally, that's what clears it up. But puppies can have other things. Our mama Labradoodles go outside, of course, to go to the bathroom, and we live in a semi-rural location, and we're very fortunate to be blessed with many, many rabbits. The rabbits carry a lot of coccidia. Now, when adult dogs come into contact with coccidia, it doesn't bother them. It's just something that they can tolerate. It doesn't upset their stomach at all. It doesn't cause any really serious ill effects. But infant puppies like this, who don't have a developed immune system, it can be very troublesome. They'll become dehydrated very quickly because they will have terrible diarrhea. It smells awful. If you're a Labradoodle breeder and you've ever had a puppy with coccidia, you will never forget that smell. And you'll know right away, and you'll know you have to treat it. Coccidia needs to be treated with an antibiotic. But the main thing that you're looking for is whether your puppy is getting dehydrated. Puppies can go from being robust and healthy like this to dumpy and trying really hard to die in just a matter of hours. So that's why it's important that we come and we spend so much time with them, that they're handled many, many times during the day, they're observed, that we weigh them daily, and that we're really on top of their condition at all times. So between Reynold, myself, Taylor, and Shannon, the puppies are always being checked. We're always here monitoring them and making sure that everything is going well. Now, what about Mama Misha? How's she doing? Well, you see that she's not here on camera. This is Misha's third litter. It is her last litter, her retirement litter. She's been here, done this before. She is nowhere near as concerned about being in the whelping box constantly as a new mom is. She's feeling quite confident her puppies are happy and healthy. This is another indication to us as breeders that all is well when mom is happy enough to leave the puppies and be just outside the box. So at the moment she's as far away as possible. She will often choose to leave when I'm here, or Reynold or Taylor or Shannon, because she knows it's okay. One of the humans that I trust is there with the kids. I don't need to worry about them. I'm gonna go have some me time. And she just takes herself she's about 5 feet away from me. She lies on the tile, which is cooler, and she just has some me time. She certainly never neglects them. You can see that everything is spotlessly clean in here. The puppies are all clean, and they all have nice full tummies. Then if the puppies were not happy and well fed, you would hear them crying and complaining. Now, of course, Misha can see them, she can hear them, so if something happens, she's only just inches away from them normally when we're not feeding, and she can come right back in and look after them. And Misha's doing pretty well with her eating. She sometimes, especially at lunch, goes, maybe I'm not really feeling like eating. And when that happens, one of us will come in and we'll feed her by hand. Why on earth the same food from the dish that comes out of your hand as opposed to the bowl makes it better? Beats me. I have no idea. Sometimes I think maybe the girls just want some more company. They want a little extra pampering. I'm not sure what it is that goes through their minds. Some Labradoodle breeders feel that it's not a good idea to give in, so to speak, or spoil your mama Labradoodle by feeding them by hand. I think that's not really my approach. I want to pamper my mom. I want to give her everything that she wants and needs because she's working hard. She's given me these absolutely gorgeous Labradoodle puppies. She's making 6 families incredibly happy, and it's she that is working the hardest right now. So I'm more than happy to give her a little extra pampering. I like to come in and give her a little back rub at night, also rub her feet at night, and give her lots of her favorite treats. We do that for all our mama Labradoodles. We have the heat turned down now 1 degree because the puppies are a week old. They're a little bit better able to control their body temperature. You can see that they're all sleeping quite close to one another, but they're not piled up in a heap. If they're all heaped up, then we would know that they were cold and they were trying to get some warmth. If they were all spread out everywhere, we would know it was too hot. So we've turned it down 1 degree to try and make it a bit more comfortable for Misha and also for Rain, who is next door here. Rain's puppies are a week older than Misha's are. And that way, the mums aren't panting all the time because they're hot. Because not only is the ambient air temperature hot, they have all these little bits of heat right up against their tummy all the time when they're nursing. And lactating itself is hard work. So Misha's doing really well. I think she's counting down the days and really looking forward to her very well-earned retirement. Now, we want to talk today about you starting to get ready for welcoming your puppy at home. So there's some things that we want to think about. All of you who are on this litter list will receive a video that goes through some more practicalities for getting your house ready, things you need to do to puppy proof. But what we're going to talk about right now is things for you to think about as a family. Or if it's just you, talk to your friends, run it by them and see what makes the most sense. The first thing, and one of the main things that people are always concerned about, rightly so, is house training. We want to get our puppies house trained as quickly as possible and as well as possible. So the first consideration is, what door are you always going to use when you're house training your puppy? You want the door to be central. You want it to be easily located, easy for your puppy to locate so that they can find it, they know where to go, and you do want to just use one door so your puppy learns always to go to that door. If you have children, you want to be sure that that door is very easy for them to open and close. Sometimes we forget about that aspect. We also want a door that's easy for the puppy to get in and out of. Some patio doors, especially if you're in a condo, have a bit of a sill to them, and it's hard for the puppy to negotiate. So if you can't do anything about that and that's your only door, you're going to have to remember to carry your puppy over there or put a series of small boxes that they can walk up on to get out of the door. You'll have to do that on both sides though. You don't want them to fall over and bang their head on the balcony on the other side. Much easier just to lift them over. But if you're living in a condo and you have small children and they can't safely carry the puppy and lift it up, you'll want to figure out some sort of alternative. So once you've got that door figured out, my suggestion is you put a pee pad at that door. Now you'll see lots of things on the internet and hear lots of trainers who go, oh no, never do that because you're teaching the dog to pee in the house and that's just lazy and that's so wrong. Okay, so I disagree with that. House training is all based around texture. Puppies learn to go to the bathroom on a surface that reads to them differently than the surface that is the bulk of the surface in your home. So if you have carpet in your home and you have an area rug or a mat, you're going to want to roll those all up because your puppy's going to go, okay, this is carpet on carpet. The carpet on carpet is where it's okay to go to the bathroom. So you want to take that away so that doesn't get into their head. If you have hardwood, tile, or any other type of flooring, and you have area rugs or mats, same thing. You want to pick those up and remove those so that that surface isn't there for your puppy to become confused with. The pee pad, though, is a surface you want them to be familiar with. If you're going to go and visit your friends or family with your puppy when they're not completely house trained, it's so much easier if they know what a pee pad is. You can bring a pee pad or two when you're visiting, put it down, and that's where your puppy's going to go. Because they sure as heck are not going to know what door to use at somebody else's house. So I don't believe that it makes the process any slower. I think it's just smart. And sometimes when your puppy is, say, maybe around 4.5 months old, your puppy may go to the door, your puppy may be really reliable at this point, and you may be over here and perhaps you've got something on the stove, and by the time you get the pan off of the stove, you go over here and you go to open the door, the puppy's already peed. You don't want the puppy to have done that on the floor because then you just taught the puppy the floor is okay to pee on. If you've got the pee pad there, they can just go on the pee pad. No, you don't reward them for that, but you do not get angry with them. You never get angry with them, but you don't make a big deal out of it if they use the pee pad. I like to say, yes, okay. And then I take them out and say, go pee, so that they still remember that going out is the end goal. So that's the first thing that you want to look for. The other thing is if you do live in a condo and you have a balcony, you'll want to get perhaps some artificial turf to put on your balcony. You can use that for your puppy. These you can rinse off and reuse so they don't get too smelly. Or you can put pee pads out on your balcony and just make sure you have something like bricks or whatever to hold it in place so it doesn't start blowing away, because pretty sure your neighbor doesn't want that blowing onto their balcony below. So either one of those things, you're going to want to have artificial turf or some sod that you change all the time and have in like a box, and also you can use a pee pad. And that way the puppy can feel that it's appropriate to go outside and go to the bathroom on the balcony. This, especially if you happen to live in a condo, say in Vancouver, and you're up on the 32nd floor and you've got to go and call the elevator, you got to get in the elevator, you've got to get down, you got to get through the lobby, you got to get to the spot. That's a long time for a really young puppy, and you may end up with getting pee on yourself if they just can't hold it. So nothing wrong with teaching them to go on the balcony. Will they do that forever? No, they'll figure it out. It's only a few months that all of these things for puppies are in place, so don't worry about it. Now the other thing is zones. Figure out in your house, are there places that I don't want my puppy to go? Kids' rooms, for example. You don't want your puppy to be wandering into your kid's room where your kid's forgotten to pick up their iPad, or they've left their favorite stuffy, or their brand new multi-million-dollar running shoes on the floor, and those will be the first thing that the puppy goes to and decides to chew up. Then we have an upset kid, we have parents who are upset at the cost, and we have a puppy who's like, oh, what did I do? I don't know what I did. So first thing I always recommend if you do have children, and it's even good if you're an adult, is start teaching yourself to close doors. Close doors to your closet. If you put your shoes into a cupboard or a closet when you come in the door in your mudroom, close the door. Close the door to your bedrooms all the time. Close the door to your bathroom. Just close the doors, all the doors where you don't want your puppy to go. Then using your puppy starter kit, you're going to want to use your X-Pen to block areas off. So let's say it's after school and the kids are doing some homework or projects at the dining room table, and the adults are making dinner in the kitchen. Get your X-Pen, put it up across that area so the puppy is contained in that immediate area where you are. The puppy's within your sight. People often feel guilty or bad about not allowing their puppy all sorts of freedom and free run of the house. But that's a problem. Puppies who have too much freedom are puppies who get into trouble. It's perfectly fine to have them in smaller areas of your house. They don't need miles and miles of space to be running around out of your line of sight. Now, if it's just you, then use your hands-free leash that comes in your puppy starter kit, so you have your puppy tethered to you. You don't tether the puppy to furniture or their X-Pen or anything, just you, and then that way they can't get out of your sight at all. Even easier. And that way you can still go about your business. The puppy's near you, they're participating in life, but they're not going to be getting into any trouble. Now, the other thing to figure out is, are you going to let the puppy on your furniture? So it's much easier to start off with rules and a lot of restrictions and then relax those, rather than starting off saying, oh, sure, the puppy can go anywhere. Look how cute it is. Look how little it is. And then later when the puppy's a bit bigger, you go, I don't really like the puppy sitting on my white silk armchair or whatever you might have, or you don't want to always put a protective blanket over your furniture. You bought your furniture because it looks a certain way, and now you've got to cover it up with some dog blanket. Not really what everybody wants to do. If you are okay with that, totally fine. But if you don't want your puppy on the furniture, do not start with having them up there just because they're little. Do not have them in your lap and sit on a piece of furniture you don't want them to be going on, because they can't tell the difference of sitting on your lap and being on that piece of furniture and being on that piece of furniture on their own. So get on the floor, interact with the puppy, and everybody who sees your puppy and comes to your house has to know that that's the rule, and everybody has to interact with your puppy on the floor. We have a mixed bag sort of thing. Our dogs can go on almost all of our furniture. There's just a few pieces they're not allowed on, and they know. And you can start that with your puppy, because we don't ever interact with them on the pieces of prohibited furniture. We only interact with them where they're allowed to be. And I can tell you, because they're ALDs, they're smart. So as soon as we have company, the first thing they do is jump up on the furniture they're not allowed on and go, you don't know the rules, and I don't know if mom and dad will tell us off because you're here. Just like kids, but it's really easy. Just say, and they know, and they won't try again. So those are the things that you want to start keeping in mind, discussing as a family if you're a family. And like I said, have your friends over otherwise and talk it over with them. Try and figure out sort of the logistics of everything and how your life is going to work once you have this small little rascal joining you in your family. Now, the fun thing that you get to do, and again, do this with your family, with your friends, and that's pick a name. So how do you pick a name for a puppy? Find something that means something to you, something that maybe it's a vacation location that you went to that you really enjoyed. Maybe it's something to do with Misha's name, Bowie's name, Vancouver Island, who knows? Something that just resonates with you. Try really hard to avoid the more popular names, because what happens then is when you call your dog, every single dog in the area is going to come if they all have the same name. It's also really hard for your dog to learn who they are. If your dog has a unique name that they don't hear everybody else saying, they get to know that, oh yeah, I'm Rover, for instance. And every time they hear Rover, they're going to come and they're going to respond. But if their name is Rover and 9 out of 10 other dogs' names are Rover, and they're out running around playing, and they hear all these people saying Rover, it's going to start to go in one ear and out the other, and they're not going to give you the attention. And you want your dog always to be responding when you say their name. If you have a name that's 2 syllables, it makes it really easy to shorten. And then you can use the shorter name when you're in a happy, upbeat mood. So if I wanted to say something to Misha and I want to play with her, I go, hey, Mimi, Mishi, whatever my nickname would be for her. Whereas when I wanted to really get her attention, it would be Misha. and it would be her whole name, and she would respond more to that. Part of that's the tone of your voice, but if you are trying to get your kids' attention, I know when I used to call my son and I was serious about it, it was always Jeremy John. So he knew that, oh, Mom wants me to pay attention, rather than just Jer or any of his other nicknames that he had. So that's all the things about to keep in mind for picking a name. It's lots of fun, and I love to hear all the creative names. Sometimes we get litters that go on a theme, even though nobody else knows what the other person is calling their puppy. Now, let's see. Let's find out. We'll just have a drum roll and let's discover, did any of these puppies meet their first milestone in this first week of their life? And now, of course, we're going to do this in birth order as we always do. And I'm going to get their weights here for you so I can update you on everyone. And we are going to start with Mr. Blue Collar, who is right here. And now, as always, because they still can't hear and they can't see, we're going to just give them a little bit of a warning that they're about to be picked up. Because, of course, in dog world, there is no picking up. It's only because they're people. So here is our handsome Mr. Blue Collar boy. This is our handsome chocolate phantom fellow with a little bit of white flash there on his chin, down on his chest, and then you can see it underneath his feet there. Hello, buddy. And Mr. Blue Collar is 691 grams, and he doubled his birth weight without any issue at all. In fact, he did that by day 5. He was a real overachiever. So we'll see if he keeps up with that. Maybe he'll be the first one to open his eyes. Next we have Green Collar boy. And a Green Collar is right over here. Excuse me. Hey, sweetheart. There we go. A Green Collar is this very interesting looking little puppy. He's a two-tone car. He's got the chocolate on the top and he's got the white on the bottom. And those 4 great big white socks. Oh my goodness, that's a cool pattern on this puppy. I just love it. And Mr. Green is 667 grams. And he also doubled his birth weight early. He had doubled his birth weight yesterday on day 6. So another overachiever. You get the idea. Misha's got a really nice milk bar going on here. Nobody's having any trouble finding a good spot at the milk bar, it seems. Next, we have our first girl in the litter, and that's our little red girl. And she is appropriately Red Collar girl. Hello, sweetheart. Now, we didn't know for sure if she was going to be red or red caramel. And the difference is what color her nose and her foot pads will be. Oh, she's sticking her tongue out at you. How rude. So you can see already her nose is starting to fill in and it's black. You can see she has some hint of black around her cheeks here. And if she gives us a yawn, there we go. You can see she has black lips, and she'll wave to you and show you that she also has black pads. So that means that this is a red Australian Labradoodle girl. And Miss Red is 646 grams, and she also doubled her birth weight on day 6. I just love how she sticks her tongue out like that. Do you know why she's sticking her tongue out? She's sticking her tongue out because she's thinking about nursing. She's getting ready. And yes, oh, now she put it in. Even though she can't hear me, maybe she knows what I'm saying. There we go, Miss Red Collar girl. Next, we have Black Collar boy. And this is our beautiful gleaming ebony puppy. And here I was last week telling everybody, oh yeah, solid black. We're so lucky to have one. We never get solid blacks. He's not. He's a phantom. And the giveaway, the telltale sign is right here where you can see the phantom markings on his vent. Now this is what we call a weak phantom because his markings, if you look at his feet, you really don't see any here on his legs. You have to turn them sideways to be able to get those markings. So he's pretty close to a solid. but he really is a phantom. And he is our smallest puppy. He is 548 grams, and he did it. He did it today on day 7, exactly when he turned 1 week old. He doubled his birth weight. Well, he's a little bit over the double, but yesterday he was at 96%, and today he's over 100. So yay for little black collar boy. And then we go from our smallest puppy in the litter to this bigger Labradoodle puppy here, Mr. Purple Collar. Now, Mr. Purple Collar is a party, and he is a chocolate and white party. Hey, buddy. You can see all of his handsome, beautiful markings. He's just a stunning puppy. I think his prettiest feature is the fact that he has this very symmetrical markings on his face. Really just a very eye-catching look. And you can see the chocolate is starting to fill in on his nose now. He's got those cute little spots going on, just so adorable. And Mr. Purpy, as the biggest boy, is 695 grams. And similar to his brother, he doubled his birth weight on day 5 as well. And if you just take a look, I mean, look at how wide this stomach is. Oh, these are juicy puppies. And then last but not least is our other girl in the litter, Pink Collar Girl. You see her here. She is often like this, upside down. She often sleeps with her mouth open like this. This is so typical of her. She's just a real character to be watching all of the time. And there now I've touched her tummy, and so she's aware that I'm here. And we'll pick her up. She's going to give you a giant yawn, show you her pink tongue. Now this little girl, we didn't know if she was an apricot party or a caramel party, and she's a caramel, I'm pretty sure. I think that she's going to come in with a brown nose, brown lips, and brown pads. Not positive yet, but it looks like that's what we've got here. And Miss Pinky, she doubled her birth weight on day 6, and she is now 674 grams. So that's our update for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you have any questions, please ask away in the comments. Even if you don't have a question, if you can take a few moments out of your day and post a comment, it really helps us with our YouTube algorithm, and we so appreciate you doing that. If you don't have time, a thumbs up was also really appreciated. So we hope you continue watching and joining us on the journey of our mini Australian Labradoodle puppies from the Onyx Shadow litter. And next week, join us and we'll see if the next milestone has been met. And that's a really fun one. And that's where we start to see the eyes opening. People depend on eyes. We get so much from eye contact, and this is when we really start to feel a strong connection with the puppies, when we can look them right in the eye. So we'll hope you join us then, and in the meantime, please enjoy watching all of the videos on our mini playlists. And thank you so much for watching.